Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the webinar Content Services for Lodging. With integration of over 1 million unique properties from the GTS and aggregator partners, such as Booking.com, Bedsonline, and Expedia Partner Solutions, Sabre now offers more rooms and rate options, easier searching, and better comparison shopping through Content Services for Lodging. Content Services for Lodging is now integrated seamlessly into Sabre Red 360, allowing you to leverage the same easy-to-use search features to shop, compare, and book over 4 more times lodging options than ever before. Even better, aggregators properties booked through Content Services for Lodging in Sabre Red 360 are active segments, so your agency can earn booking credits for every segment.
Thank you very much, Leandro, for that introduction. And I would like now to review with you some of the housekeeping details for this meeting. So first of all, this session is going to last 60 minutes. All lines have been muted, and that is to guarantee a correct development of the session, to avoid background noise that might affect the quality of sound, and to make sure that our presenter is not distracted by that. Effective now, chat window is active, so you can send your questions or comments through the chat, and we will pass them to our guest speaker. Please make sure that when you do so, when you send your comment or question, you select the option to send to all panelists, and any of us, Leandro, myself, and also Caitlin, our our presenter, will see it, okay? And we'll make sure not to miss anything that you are sharing with us. This session is being recorded also, and we are going to upload it later in our YouTube channel, and we will share it with you in the supporting material that we will deliver along the day. And well, within the next 24 hours, we will send you the supporting materials of the session, so you can revisit it later or share it with your colleagues. And we will as well, I think that we do have one line that we need to silence, please.
I just
Okay.
muted.
Thank you. And the last detail is that we will as well share with you a link to the customer satisfaction survey for this event. It is very important for us that to know your opinion about this meeting, but also to know about which other topics you would like to see included in future agendas.
Okay, now let's review today's agenda. The agenda will cover the following topics: content services for lodging key benefits, working with aggregators. We will talk about some frequently asked questions, and finally we will have a content services for lodging live demo using Sabre Red 360.
So moderators for this session will be Leandro Gentile and also myself, Carolina Ricarte. We belong to the marketing campaign team for Latin America and the Caribbean, and we are located in Montevideo, Uruguay. Our mission today will be to monitor the chat session and, as we were saying before, pass the questions to our guest speaker, and being attentive also to your comments. In case that any of your questions are not answered, we will try to do it in the follow-up material that we are going to send you within the next 24 hours as we promised. And now I would like to welcome Kathleen Dehan. She's a hotels expert and will share with you the latest news about the new hotel platform and how you can take advantage of all the benefits it offers. So welcome. Good morning, Caitlin.
Good morning. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
Excellent. All right, so we're going to pull up the presentation. Please let me know when you can see it.
We can see it there displayed.
Excellent. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So my name is Caitlin Dehan, and I'm with our sales strategy and support team in our lodging, ground, and sea organization. So we cover everything from lodging, car rental, cruise line, rail, you name it. Today, I have the privilege of talking to you about content services for lodging and how we have our launch partners with aggregators, and then furthermore, how it's integrated in our very own Sabre Red 360. So with content services for lodging, we have over 1 million property options through one single display, creating increased efficiency with extensive new shopping capabilities. And as you can see here are our launch partners. So Booking.com, Bedsonline, and Expedia Group. With content services for lodging, we disrupted the lodging space. We incorporated a time where we can have source agnostic capabilities, bringing in multiple supplier sources. And the best part is you get the choice of which supplier you would like to see. We also enabled normalization. So because we normalize our sources, you're able to efficiently compare across multiple suppliers. For example, if you have one supplier who indicates free breakfast, another one who says continental meal, this way you're able to see both offer a free breakfast and could articulate that to your end traveler. And lastly, we have the ability to apply policy preferencing and management through our new lodging retailer solution, which will be coming out shortly. With content services for lodging, we took an API-led approach. As you can see on the left, we worked on our APIs first, including our rules engine and our content normalization. And then through our APIs, you're able to then facilitate this through a booking tool. So this is, you'll see online booking tools, our very own Sabre Red 360. And so the importance with this was that we looked at the API first, so offering orchestrated APIs, as well as granular APIs. If you would like more information on the APIs, we do have our Dev Studio page that has more detail in depth with examples for both SOAP and REST of content services for lodging. Now, moving on to Sabre Red 360. So behind the scenes, you'll notice our APIs are functioning our new offering. So we offer those 1 million unique property options that are now facilitated through Sabre Red 360. And the biggest thing here is that these are now active segments. So as before, you may have done some bookings on these additional suppliers, but have had to go on into the Sabre Red 360 and add them as a passive segment, meaning you wouldn't get any incentive and you wouldn't get anything towards your booking threshold count. But now, because we're bringing that content in, it'll now be included as an active segment. And then our team is also still working on our normalization, ensuring we're continuing to refine any little detail. And so taking that blob of text that was previously in our fragmented industry and making it structured and comparable and efficient from a filtering capability and just exposure of data. So with that, we have a property level and room rate level normalization. And then on the right is a quicker view of our partners and the individual partners within those groups. So for example, you have GTA under Bedsonline, and then you'll have hotels.com under Expedia. Now let's take a look at our content coverage. So with our Sabre GDS4, we went from 285,000 unique properties. So this was with 320 chains and 215 countries. So we recognize we do have a gap, which you can see here. It's pretty evident with our color coordination. Now, because of content services for lodging, we have a greater coverage globally. I'll just let you take a moment to look at our coverage. The darker color scheme, meaning we have over more than 90% of the world content. Now, we do recognize there are still some areas, and that's where it's exciting, because with content services for lodging, our development team has also worked on a supplier API. So this would allow additional suppliers to code to our content services for lodging APIs and bring in their content, which means you could also have access to that. Now, what do these aggregators bring to the table? So we're just looking here from left to right, just the greatest amount of properties. Looking at Booking.com, bringing in about 460,000, 130,000 with Bedsonline, and Expedia Group will be bringing in about 300,000. Now, because of the new aggregators we have, we also can offer new property types, which means that we offer greater accommodation options for your traveler. Especially at a time like COVID, you never know if people need more space, like a B&B style or their own apartment. So we are now able to offer that. We have your traditional, what we had before, the hotel, motel resorts, and now expanding off of apartment, hostels, bread and breakfast, inns, and even vacation rentals. Now looking at payment types, there are different options from a post-pay and prepay only. As you can see here, Booking.com is heavily on post-pay options. Bedsonline will be prepay only, and Expedia Group will be offering a combination. In addition to payment type, we then have rate types. So each aggregator will bring something else to the table. Booking.com and Expedia will have commissionable rates, and Bedsonline will eventually be bringing in the net rates. We do have a beta program in place to ensure the product is at the best capability for you to integrate. Next, we have exclusive rates. So because you're going to have agreements with these specific aggregators, it can unlock specific content. So depending upon your agreement, you may get to see different rates. And so for Booking.com, you can see Genius rates, Bedsonline exclusive travel agent rates, and then Expedia Group member-only rates and package rates. Across the board, there are flexible cancellation policies. We'll be able to see this further in the demo. And then lastly, customer support. Aggregators want to have the best success from the partnership perspective, and they want to provide that support as well. So we work very closely with our aggregators, and they also have teams dedicated to support agencies. So now, how might you get access if you want to? So what you would do is go to Sabre Central, and then using your Sabre ID that has administrator rights, you would go to Marketplace. From there, you would type in content services for lodging on the search window as shown below here. From here, the managers will fill out a form and aggregators will get in touch with unique credentials. From there, you'll be able to then access specific. I'll give you an example here. This is Booking.com. If you were interested in Booking.com, you would have had to fill out the form on Sabre Central, sign up with new CSL credentials, and have separate contract agreement with Booking.com. This is because you would have a specific relationship with Booking.com from a commercial standpoint. So if you were to get specific commissions, in addition to having your Sabre incentive. So going back to Booking.com, after signing up, you would get a specific link and provide details here, and then agree to the contractual terms. You will then receive an email with your specific credentials, and these are known as affiliate IDs with Booking.com. From there, you will input it into Sabre 360 through Hotel Program Manager, and this will unlock your commission opportunity. So you will also use your login for the Booking.com portal, baking info, and really to understand your commercial terms that you will agree upon. And then we also recommend, just from a pointer best practice, to use a unique email with Booking.com. So the Hotel Program Manager is located in Sabre 360 under your admin capabilities. From here, you would select configuration and then select the aggregator you would like to move forward with. At the end, you would save, and the content would be automatically available on Sabre 360. The affiliate ID would be placed at the bottom, and the contract type would be the standard, and then you would click the Save button at the top right. You'll also have the capability to do this across all aggregators. So this is how we will manage credentials. This is only at the PCC level. To apply to other PCCs, you can AAA or log in using associated PCC and then assign the credential. Once again, you would have to save, and then it would automatically be available on Sabre 360 to consume. Now, there's a lot of information, but there's a lot of possibilities with content services for lodging. So we have a virtual onboarding kit. On this website, there's a lot of information from the value prop, from an onboarding checklist that walks you through different items to keep an eye out for, such as bit of back office capability, even aggregator information. And then lastly, a place for resources. So here you can find some useful tools like our user guide and even our new graphical mode user guide that walks you through previously supported commands and how you can do that in the graphical format. We'll provide this link out to everyone at the end as well. So with that, are there any questions before we go to the demo?
Yes, Caitlin, as a matter of fact, we do have some before we proceed with the demo. And I hope that our audience is not being shy and that they are start sending us questions and comments once we begin with the demo. But the first question that we have is a very basic one, but key in all this. Does content services for lodging have any cost for my agency? Do I have to pay something extra?
No additional cost. And that's the beautiful part of content services for lodging. So you get access to the content. And then if you want additional commission opportunity, you can have a specific agreement with the aggregators to unlock such content.
Okay, good. And the second question could be, how can I proceed if I don't have an agreement, for example, with Bedsonline? Should I go to the GDS or directly with the aggregator? How does it work?
So you will go through the Sabre Central Marketplace. Let me pull that up again. So from here, you'll use your admin login. And so you'll go into Marketplace and place the order for content services for lodging. So from here, you'll be able to select which aggregator or multiple aggregators you would like to get content from. Upon filling out that form, that information will be sent to the appropriate aggregator, who will then come back in contact with you to discuss commercial terms.
Okay, thank you very much. I believe that Leandro has a question also.
Yes, thank you very much, Carolina. Steven is asking, are the Booking.com rates 10% commissionable to the travel agency?
So the commission will be dependent upon your discussion with the specific aggregator. So you can go through this process and have those conversations. If you already have an existing agreement with them, you can definitely reach out to lodginginfo@sabre.com, and we'll provide that as well for specific questions, and we can definitely support and get you in contact with the right Booking.com support team.
Okay, thank you very much. And also, Shiva is asking a specific question about hotels.com. She says, and I read, hotels.com offers travelers 1 night free after booking 10 nights. Can traveler benefit from this initiative if hotel bookings are made in Sabre Red 360?
So with Sabre Red 360, we will surface the rates that are agreed upon. Now that specific promo, we do have our aggregator content strategist partner on, Rita Cuppet. I don't know, Rita, if you'd like to elaborate further on additional specific promotions. We can follow up and
Oops, there was an echo there.
Leandro, can you please unmute Rita? Because she's going to help us with some of the information regarding aggregators.
Let me, I think I will mute Kathleen and maybe unmute Rita. Yeah, I believe that Rita is having duplicated microphones there. That's why we're having the echo. See, now you should be on, Rita.
We cannot hear you, Rita. That is right.
Yeah.
Can
Maybe
you give it a try now? to our audience, sorry for this inconvenience that we are experiencing, okay? We hope that you can understand, but this is the issue also when we are conducting live events, so that is the reason why. I see that Rita is already unmuted, but we cannot hear you, unfortunately.
Maybe she can try to log in out and log in again. That could be. But in the meanwhile, if you allow me, Kathleen, maybe we can follow on another question that has just arrived.
Let's do that.
Yeah, Ruth is asking us, will there be any reports to show savings from aggregator bookings and Sabre rates?
So are you looking for specific agency savings? Is that the question? If so, go ahead, Leandra.
No, yeah, actually, Ruth, if you can clarify that, but actually that is what I received on chat. Will there be any reports to show the saving from the aggregators? I assume that is for the agency, yeah.
Yeah, so we will have some reporting capabilities, and from there, you'll be able to extract some data points. And so that specific one hasn't been done yet, but that is something we can definitely take back and look into further.
Okay. Rita, let us know. Okay, she says that yes, it is related the agency, and she thanks for the response. So thank you very much, Kathleen.
Yeah, no problem.
And Caitlin, regarding the this new product that we are showing, this new platform, actually, one of our customers is asking, and I will just proceed and read, if do they have to use this product? Okay, if it's mandatory to use this product, since for the type of customers that he works with, it wouldn't be practical. What is your input on that?
Yeah, so I like to separate that. So the first being point of sale tool, Sabre 360 will be using content services for lodging. So that is something that will be mandatory. There's a lot of new capabilities that are going to bring tremendous value in keeping the agent within the point of sale tool versus having to leave the tool to get additional data to support their traveler. And so the other bit of that, so we have our point of sale tool, and then the other bit is the aggregator content. So the aggregator content is optional, but we want to provide that in our channel. So that way you do have more options and flexibility to accommodate your traveler. So it is not mandatory from a content perspective, but the capability perspective is rolled out with Sabre 360.
Good. Thank you very much. And there is
one more thing,
sure.
Carolina, I'd like to add. So at this time, if your client base does not want to have access to aggregator content, that's okay, but it will be there in the future too. So that hotel program management that I had displayed, and I'll pull it up again, you'll have the option to go back and enable or disable, so, and then save your preferences. So if this week you don't have a client that wants booking.com, but first of the year you have a client that specifically wants booking.com, you can come in here and manage that. And it will be still at the PCC level, but you will have options at the filtering and others. So just wanted to share that as well.
Okay, perfect. And I have a question also from Roxana, and she's commenting that she filled the form a year ago like this, and she didn't finalize the application. Can she, let's say, resume that and go once again with the application, or should she go to Sabre Central and get the same application popping up for accessing the product?
Yeah, so if you went in and started the form but didn't submit it, go ahead and go back and do so. If you've submitted it but haven't actioned and you need help locating your credentials, feel free to reach out to lodginginfo@sabre.com. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat group as well. So please use that email box. If you did provide the form, submit it, receive your credentials, but now you're having some difficulties locating
Okay, thank you very much. Leandro?
Yes. Judy is asking us about Booking.com, and let me read her question. We see Booking.com now in our Sabre 360 hotel display, but all rates show non-commissionable. Is this something that we can fix, or is something that maybe they need to talk to their aggregator themselves?
So the question I would ask is, do you have your affiliate ID properly logged into Hotel Program Manager? So there were some people who had access to Booking.com content, but the commission was not installed because the contract was never signed. And so now you can make sure that if you do have the affiliate ID, that it is properly logged into Hotel Program Manager. So then we can link your commission to your booking. Now, there could also be the option that if you're looking at particular hotels, they might not have a commission option for that particular property or the rate. And that was part of our accelerated access program. So that is why the commission was not initially tied onto it. So you had to wait until the contract was signed. And if you need further support on that, once again, please reach out to lodginginfo@sabre.com and we can definitely assist you.
Okay.
I think that we can now proceed to the demo since I don't see any new question. And of course, then we're going to gather the new ones arriving and we will continue answering. So thank you very much, Kathleen.
Definitely. And Rita is also back on. She put in the chat if you guys can help unmute her. Okay. Are you guys able to see Sabre 360 all right?
Yep, we can.
Excellent. Okay. So we're going to start with adding a traveler to the PNR. You can do this multiple ways. If you already have a profile created, you can go ahead and pull it up. But I'm going to walk you through an example where I do not have a profile for my traveler. So I'm going to make sure to add in my agency address along with the traveler information. So here you'll just put in whatever information you have on your traveler, their name, passenger type, and then down in the agency name, you'll put in your agency, your address, and additional information you need. There's also more options in our drop-down menu that you can add. I'll add this to the PNR. So with this little icon, we have an indication that we have successfully added this to the PNR. So I now have a traveler and my address. So I'll go ahead and close this. So with content services for lodging, under the command helper, we have 3 areas to conduct a search. The first being the hotel search, where you can come into location and look at a particular airport. You can look at even points of interest around an airport if you need to give recommendations to your traveler, or even just a city. We also have address search. So here, the most common feature is the zip code. So all those times you want your traveler needs to be close to a specific office and a specific zip code, you can go ahead and input that here, and then the state information and the country, and go ahead and conduct your search. What's nice too is that you're able to add in your client IDs. And so you have the option of including, or you can select only, which would mean that I only want the Sabre supported client IDs to be shown in my search results. I also have additional advanced qualifiers from amenities. I select them, I get a new drop-down menu, coffee shop. I have accessible parking. So whatever you need to select for your traveler, we provide that option. Even currency. So we have the capability of inputting new currency to show what the rates would be. And we also have hotel property search. So if you have a specific property number that you know by heart, you can go ahead and put that in here. And then same thing, you would fill out your dates, and then any client IDs and any rate categories that you have. So we have military, for example, a weekend, and then once again, currency options. So I'm going to go back to the hotel search to show you what my traveler needs. So my traveler will be going to DFW. They will be traveling February 20th and only one night. So I actually don't have to change the number of nights nor the checkout date because it'll pre-populate. It's just one guest, so we'll leave that there. They prefer Hyatt, so we'll go ahead and input our chain code. I don't have a preferred property, so I don't need to add the property name, but if I were to have that, I could go ahead and add that here. From a client ID perspective, I'm going to add Sabre, and you can add multiple client IDs here. And I'm going to choose include because I want to see other rates, not just Sabre, but if I wanted to look at just Sabre client IDs, I could select only. Now, advanced qualifiers, I showed you a couple, and my traveler wants to be within 10 kilometers within the airport. I'm going to input 10. Also, just to show you from an option perspective, you have kilometers, but you also have miles. From here, I'm going to conduct my search. So this will populate the search results closest to my qualifiers I selected. So you can see the properties displaying nicely here. I have my global ID, which is new with content services for lodging, and this is because we have new aggregators, and so with that we need more combinations of numbers. We have our chain code, also the Sabre ID. So don't worry if you still know your Sabre ID by heart, you can definitely still input that. The address, and then we also have the distance in proximity to direction. Some of those amenities I showed you in the drop-down option, if you don't select anything, that's okay. You'll still pre-populate with the amenities that the hotel has. And so they will fill in a dark gray, and you can hover over to display what they mean, like a little wait for health club, the pool, with the swimmer. And then you can still see your client ID populate as well if there's a client ID available at that specific property. Now you notice you see booking.com here first. So I selected to display booking.com and Sabre. So if I select the down arrow, this one right here is the lead rate. Now if I select the down arrow, you can see the booking.com rate, my client ID rate, and then the public Sabre rate. I also have ratings that are displayed here. So those are our very own Sabre ratings. Once I open the drawer, I'm able to see more information on the property. So once again, you're displaying the chain code and the IDs, phone numbers, fax numbers, and then whether or not you have specific contractual rates or negotiated rates. And then under property details, I'm able to display specific property information. And so this has nice little quick buy menu that you can select on, dining if I need to offer specific recommendations for my traveler. And then the other nice feature is I can come in here and type in whatever I might need. So that's just a quick reference point. Great to use when you have a traveler on the phone and you need to quickly get information instead of having to go to the Hyatt House Dallas Las Colinas on their website. We also have photos and videos. And so these will populate depending on what the supplier provides us. We also have our very own visual content platform. So some nice images if you need a quick glance. They also have a nice little checkbox of amenities that are available at this particular property. So once again, just very convenient. A lot of data is being returned in one single location. Now, if this is in fact the property I want to continue moving forward with, I'm going to select view rates. You notice that there's also an add passive button. So we do have a quick way to add passives in the event you would want to, but we're going to move forward with an active booking. So we went ahead to look at the room rates. So as you notice, you can still see the same information from my first screen. Now we have 86 room rates available. And so with this information, you're able to see the product, the room type, and then if breakfast is included or not, whether or not it's refundable. And if you actually hover over, you can quickly see the cancellation policy, when you need to cancel by, and if there's a fee with it or not. We also have this green indicator here that shows it's commissionable. From this, you're able to select on the specific room rate to get additional information, including tax breakout, any additional service fees, city tax. So you can see that here. You also have a specific room description, and then there's further details on the cancellation policy, guarantee, and other information. Now, before I look at this room rate even further, what I'd like to do, show you the capability from a filtering aspect. So in this case, my traveler does not want booking.com, so I could easily come in here, deselect booking.com, and reapply. Now, I can go back to here and see if I want to adjust anything from the bed type. For example, if I just want king bed, select that. I see there's 28 options. Whether or not I want it refundable, and then commissionable. So if I want them to be commissioned only, I can deselect not commissionable and reapply. The nice thing too about our filter is that you can reset all. So after you filter and apply different checkboxes and you don't like what you're seeing, you can come back and reset all to quickly adjust it. I'm going to hit apply. That's what I want to do. And so I'm going to go back to Sabre. We're going to do king bed. And we want commissionable. So we're going to apply that. So great. This room rate looks awesome. I'm going to select, open up the drawer. I have my specific tax breakout here. This one doesn't have an additional cost for rollaway bed or crib, but if it did, you'd be able to see that here. And so it is also refundable. So that's good for my traveler. I'm going to go ahead and book. Now you'll see the hotel reservation pop up. So here you're able to input corporate discount number, frequent guest number, frequent flyer information. And once again, if you already have a profile, this information can be pre-populated to make it even more efficient. But because I wanted to add my traveler at the beginning, this is where I have more manual add. And so when we look at payment, we have new options too. So deposit with credit card or other. And then I'm going to select Visa card and Visa.
Caitlin, just in addition to what you're explaining, Stephen asked if do they need to apply the filter each and every time they do the search, or can it be saved and for every search that they need to do for the customer?
So the search that you need to do, if you're within the same session, you can come in here and execute. And then the other, are they talking about the qualifiers within the command helper itself?
Well, actually, he's asking about the filters that you have.
The filter, so
Yeah.
So that is actually great feedback, and we've received that as well in reviewing with our product team. So we will definitely be communicating that in any of our updates if that's something we incorporate. Here is where you would put the cardholder details along with supplemental information. So here's your SI field. Then you can go ahead and book. Fantastic. My room has been reserved. I have my status code, my confirmation number, additional information about the property. And so now I want to display my PNR. So with this, I have more information. I can see what other inputs I can add for my traveler. Other than that, I have my specific details, the confirmation number. I also can see at the bottom here the specific commission that I'm getting. And then two, I do have the option of modifying. So I can modify specific details or change dates. And something else that might look familiar, go back up to manual commands. So originally when we were looking at content services for lodging, we decided to do absolutely no commands. But because we heard your feedback, we incorporated that. And so now we do support some commands. And I'll actually show you those commands that are supported today after we complete this demo. So here, once you're seeing PNR, it's the same thing with your chain code. Now, if it was a booking.com booking, you would see 7B as the chain code. And for Expedia, you would see 7E and Bedsonline 7H. So there's still ways to identify where you're booking from in the specific chain code. You also have your keying room, and then also your percent commission. So display A is still available today. So with that,
Kathleen, sorry to interrupt you. I have Stephen is asking about the filter logic, and if there's a way to save the filters they use in order for every search. Just to clarify, right now there is no way for us to save, or for a travel agent to save the filters they use for a particular search, but it will be taken into consideration in future releases, correct?
correct.
Okay, please, Stephen, let me know if this responds your question. If not, let me know over the chat for more clarifications.
Perfect. And you do have more filter options at the beginning as well. So at the HOT level. And so you can look at, I included a specific chain, but if I had not done that, you'd be able to highlight that. Once again, the amenities. So if you need a specific amenity available, you can select that to then be available. And then nightly room rate, we have some possibility if the corporation has a specific policy around how much they can spend per night. And then once again, that distance. So I had pre-qualified the 10 kilometers, but if I need to get even closer, I can adjust accordingly. And you can simply press apply and see the filter take place. Another neat option that we have is the map capability. So with this, you're able to look at a broader view and select the specific property based upon the distance and proximity. So just more options and capabilities with content services for lodging. So with this, that wraps up our demo. So I'll go back over to show you the commands that are supported today.
And sorry, Caitlin, before we proceed with that, there is one question here that has to do with something you showed, and these are the pictures of the properties. Do all properties load pictures? Is this something that depends on them, or how does it work? Because some customers were saying, okay, but there are some properties for which maybe I cannot see a picture.
Yep, so at a time, there were some missing images, so that might have been during that instance. But we do receive the images from the supplier side, so there is the dependency on that. Then again, the team makes sure to do due diligence in ensuring that we can see images.
Okay, good. And there is a new question also from BG Bala, and he wants to know whether the rates shown are the same as if they book directly with the aggregator, the rates that we display here in Content Services for Launching.
Yep, so that is the idea. So we're the channel that surfaces the rates, right? And so as you have those specific rates, and I can pull up the slide again, you can unlock specific rates like those genius rates from booking.com or exclusive travel agency rates from Bedsonline. And Rita, I know you're back on, so feel free to elaborate as I pull up the PowerPoint.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
No one can hear you.
Okay, my apologies, everybody. It was a sneaky setting in WebEx, and I haven't used WebEx in a while. That was the issue, so my apologies for that. So to that question, we receive all the rates from our aggregators from their APIs. Their APIs are the same content that they distribute on their websites. There are some exceptions, for instance, with Bedsonline, where some hotels are not API enabled, so that won't surface in the APIs. But as a general rule, we receive the same rates as you will see on Booking.com, Expedia, or Bedsonline. Another exception is that we do not facilitate any cash-only properties. So there's a cash-only property on the aggregator that will not come through the API and surface in Sabre Rate 360 or through our agency API.
Perfect. I have a couple of questions, if I may. These are from Steven. The first one, is there any app provided with our travel agency name, which will allow our customers to book online with our travel agency?
So would this include online booking tool, an in-house one?
Yeah, that is what I think they are asking. Yes, there is any app that can allow the customers, their customers, to book online with them using content services for lodging.
Yep, so we do have the APIs available. So we do have the studio site, and that's something that you can go to for your very own online booking tool. But if you do not have that, Sabre has a Get There tool and Tripcase as well as other options other than Sabre Red 360. If that answers their question, unless they have a particular booking tool they're referring to.
Okay, well, let me know, Stephen, if this answers the questions. In the meanwhile, I will go on with the following one. It's this also from Steve, asking us in regards of the taxes that are coming included. And let me read the question. Why are the rates coming up including taxes? He says that we provide our customers with the base and rate and advise it is plus taxes. Does this figure include resort fees and any other fees the customer may be responsible for? How can I show the base rate in Sabre previously showed before confirming the rate?
Yep, so in the room rate, you have the option, let me pull that back up, to have the drawer, which will access the additional taxes and other service fees applicable for that particular rate, and property. Sometimes the cities will have additional taxes or certain fee. Let me pull that up. We'll go back here to the map view. So if I like this property, once I look at the room rates, this will provide multiple options for me to select. And then from here, I'll be able to select the drop-down menu and look at the tax information, the additional fees. This one has city tax. Some will have greater city tax, some will have less, some will have additional resort fees. So this is where you can look at that information before you press book. Okay, are we ready for some of the commands? So something else too I can show you while we're in here. So if I know my property and I need to get some information quickly, I can come in here and do HOD and then put in my particular property number. I'll go ahead and pull it directly up and quickly with the phone number, fax number, address, so I can provide that on a ready to go basis.
I don't know if, okay, good, thank you. Rita, I would like you to provide an answer to Shiva that has asked, and I will proceed and read the following. Hotels.com offers travelers 1 night free after booking 10 nights. Can travelers benefit from this incentive if hotel bookings are made in Sabre Red 360?
Yeah, with our rates, do not surface any special promotions that's offered by any aggregator, as the same with loyalty. So loyalty points, loyalty privileges, special rates, special promotions that's offered directly by the aggregator does not surface in our platforms as Sabre Rate 360. Those rates also are not part of the API. If I can explain it in the same way with hotels. So if Hilton, for instance, offer a book two, get one offering, a special promotion, if you book directly on their website, that will also not be available in the legacy GDS. So unfortunately, those special promotions are only available directly with the aggregator or directly with our hotel partners.
Thank you very much, Rita. And well, Shiva, we hope that this has answered the question that you had. So going back to the presentation, I think that you were, Caitlin, going back to the slide with the commands, because we know that there are many of our customers that are used to work with commands, as all of us, the old ones here, that know how to type everything. So let's provide some input on that also.
Yes, and we are excited that we're able to provide some supported commands. So these are the most popular. And so our team the product team is still working on incorporating some more highly used commands, but we will not be supporting the full depth of commands that we had previously done. As I mentioned earlier, at first, content services for lodging was going to just be graphical only, no commands, but we heard your feedback and it was important. So we went ahead and incorporated supported commands. So we'll just go through a couple here. We have some property number search with optional qualifiers. So looking with client IDs, rate category qualifiers, property number search with outdates. So city code location search with optional qualifiers. So once again, the client ID, rate category, chain code, even a property name. And then city code location search with air segment reference and optional qualifiers, along with display hotel description from shopping responses. So as I showed in the demo, the last one we have with the specific property ID, so that way you can quickly access that information if the traveler calls you right back. We also support, show the next slide. We're at the property level. And so we have date change, we have NPNR, ignore, cancel, and then we also have some HOM that are quite popular. And so with that, we can look at modify details, and these are just supported for GDS grades only at this current release. And as we continue with our releases, as I mentioned, we will continue to support more commands. And we do have some new commands coming soon. So HOD help and HOD help. So just a quick way to identify additional support commands, and then currency qualifier as well. So you saw me do it in the graphical way where I use the drop down and the amenities with command helper. And so then I was able to input my preferred currency. And so now we're looking at the currency qualifier as well. All right, so we'll go into some FAQs. These are our most commonly asked questions. So will Sabre pay incentives to agencies on aggregator bookings and content services for lodging? Yes, Sabre will pay incentives on all bookings made through aggregators as these will be active. So we do have some users who are still using the booking.com Red app. Just a reminder, those are passive bookings and will not have incentives paid. And if you have any questions on how to move away from the Red app, please reach out to lodginginfo@sabre.com. Will commissions be paid on these aggregator bookings? So yes, and the specifics will be dependent upon the aggregator agreements that you have. And agencies will be responsible for driving commercial agreements directly with the aggregators. Will aggregator content be available to agencies by default? Customers need to get credentials with our aggregators so they can get access to rates and get paid on commissions accordingly. So there were some of you who had accelerated access, but those do not grant commissions. You do need some signed agreement. What rates will CSL offer? Will CSL have prepaid rates and net rates? CSL will have all rates offered by our 3 launch aggregators, and that will include prepaid rates. And Bedsonline, as I mentioned earlier, is 100% prepaid. Can existing aggregator credentials be used in CSL? So you'll need to review this with each individual aggregator partner. We do require specific CSL credentials. So those are unique to Sabre Content Services for Lodging. And so just have a discussion with the aggregator partner if you do have an existing agreement. So with that, that wraps up today's session, and we can open it up for any remaining calls or questions.
Caitlin, one question related to the formats. Glenda is worried about the HOM command. Do you think that the HOM is gonna be restored, or oh, there it is.
Yep.
Perfect. This may answer the question to Glenda, because she was worried in order to not to cancel and rebook every time they need to modify.
Yep, and as I mentioned, these are just supported for Sabre GDS content, and so in the future we will incorporate modify with the aggregators.
Perfect. And it is related to the question from Stephen, related to the filter option. He's asking about the filter. Let me read here the clarification. When we search for our negotiated rates, they are now coming up with taxes included. I want to see the negotiated rate at first glance as before diving into the rate and clicking 3-4 times. I don't know if this makes sense to you.
I think, is it talking about at the HOT level? So showing at property view, the initial, yes. Yeah, okay, I see the yes in the chat. We'll take this back to our product team. So right now it is the sum, and so there might be an option looking at the drop-down menu, but that is great feedback. So thank you very much, Stephen.
Perfect. And Diane is asking us if where do we find the rate code to modify without having to rebook?
The rate code to modify. So in the PNR at the bottom right, there'll be a modify button, and you can change details or change dates.
And Caitlin, I just want to jump in here. It's very important to know that with aggregator bookings, there is no modify at this stage. All bookings will have to be canceled and rebooked with the aggregators.
Correct. Yep.
Perfect. Good clarification. Thank you very much. And we are about to end the 60 minutes hour. Before we go to any last question, if I may, I would like to reinforce the contact that you have, if you have any concerns, any questions, or even any comments in order to improve the tool. It is loginginfo@sabre.com. So you can send your concerns or your questions to that email, and our specialized team will be answering you. I don't know, Carolina, if you have any question on your end that we can make before we end the session.
There is only one last question from Carlos, and he comments that he's been notified that they are moved on the 4th of December, so that would be tomorrow, to content services for lodging, and he wants to know if there is any way that he can extend that, since they are call center servicing travel agencies that are corporate customers. So any input on that, maybe he can reach out to his account executive, or this is something that can be worked through the lodging info at sabre.com email address that we are sharing in the chat.
Yes, please reach out to your account executive in regards to rollouts, and then we will get pulled in where appropriate.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, Carlos, that will be the next step. You need to contact your account representative as soon as possible so they can postpone that date of the migration for content services for launching for your agency. So
yeah, and
that,
they will
yes.
further investigate to see whether or not it would qualify. So that's why just reach out to your account executive and inform them of the situation, and they'll action from there.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, Leandro, I think that we can start closing the meeting for today that has been really active and productive also.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, we thank you all for your time and participation today in this webinar related content services for lodging. We hope that this information share has been useful and added value to your business. Let us remind you that within the next 24 hours, we will send you supported material via email, including the PowerPoint presentation and this same recording session. You can also revisit and or share it with your colleagues to make this that will make this event. So thank you very much for your participation, and thank you, Caitlin and Rita.
Well, thank you very much, Leandro. And I would also like to remind you that we have already shared the customer satisfaction survey, but we are going to add the link also in the follow-up material that Leandro was saying. It is very important for us that you complete the customer satisfaction survey, as well as provide your candid feedback about this initiative, and let us know which topics you would like to see tackled in the future. So you are not only giving your opinion on today's webinar about content services for launching, but also on future topics you would like to see presented by us. So thank you once again. Thank you to all our audience from the Caribbean market. Thank you to our presenter, Caitlin, and thank you, Rita, also, and for all the, thank you to all the team that was there, the Content Services Launching team. We had Xavi, we had also Fernanda supporting their backstage. Thank you to all our customers, and it will be until the next meeting that we have. So have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you all.